Hello and welcome to an overview of the Unauthorized Commit alert type, which sits under the data loss detection pillar of the Digital Shadows offering. This type of alert detects commits made by your employees to public code repositories. Now, these public commits made by your employees may be non-compliant with your internal policies and could constitute technical data leakage. You'll notice now on the home screen on the right hand side, under the latest unread alerts and incidents, you've got those unauthorized code commits popping up. If we click into one of those, we can see what the alert will look like. You'll notice this follows the normal format of an alert with the risk score on the left hand side, which is derived from the risk likelihood, impact, and the asset score. We do this in order to enable you to better prioritize the alerts that you receive. Also within the Alert UI, you can see here there's a host of different pieces of contextual information and action items. This includes a commit summary, which provides information on the commit or commits made by that particular user to the repository and any forks of that repository as well. Now, of course, this is just a summary of the commit, but you can go and click into view details to gain more context. This includes information on the commits as well as the repositories in question too. As we scroll down, there's also the matched assets. So in this case, we take your company email domain and use that to identify employees' email addresses. On the left-hand side, you can see there's a repository timeline. Now this is showing all the activity on that repository or the repository fork by users that are part of your organization. On the right-hand side, you can see the committed details, which are based on the user's profile on that code hosting platform. For the meantime, this alert will focus on those GitHub commits, but over time we'll start to add some more pieces of coverage there. As we further scroll down, we can see there's a repository README. Now this provides context on the repository itself, including what the project does and how users can contribute. Finally, at the bottom, we do a shadow search source summary. This enables you to assess the riskiness of this particular email address or user. For example, you can see whether they've been involved in data breaches and their credentials exposed, or whether there's any mentions across dark web or criminal forums. All of this context is provided to you so you can make quicker and better decisions. To guide those decisions, we provided playbooks, which help in the different stages of the response. So detection analysis, containment, and then the post-incident activity. Really critically for this risk type, there are a few action items you should be aware of. The biggest one is whitelisting, and here you can do that by the email address itself and or the source repository. It's worth noting that by whitelisting the source repository, all forks of that repository will also be whitelisted. That means you won't be alerted to any more instances of either that email address committing publicly or to that specific repository. This enables you to really refine it to your own internal controls. Finally, we're aware that a lot of these details within the alert can change over time, and while that may not change the risk score, may well be of interest to you. In these cases, you can use the watching functionality, and that allows you to be notified when any changes such as these occur. For example, in this scenario, if developer example.com had made a second commit to this repository, then watching the alert would notify you of this change. This is particularly helpful if you want to monitor this specific employee's behavior on the specific repository. As with all of our risk types, we've got a dedicated risk overview page, which you can access through Learn and Risk Profiles. And then under the data loss detection section, you'll see this new unauthorized commit, and you can click into the risk profile there. This gives you an overview of what we're alerting on, potential impact to the business, the scenarios that we use, our different pieces of coverage, and what we use for detection. The final area to be aware of is the configure risk page. So if you go to configure and risks, you'll now see an authorized commit to a public repository as an option there. Clicking into there, we can see an overview of the alert volume, as well as the top assets and those that are creating the most noise. In here, the Assets and Whitelist tab enable you to further refine this to your own organizational policies. For example, you may own an email domain that's predominantly used by customers, and you don't particularly care about getting the visibility of those customers committing to a public repository. So in the Assets tab, you're able to actually disable that email domain from raising alerts. That's all for this quick video, but if you have any questions, get in touch with a member of our team.